Again? Yes, as you can tell, I'm an expert. My credibility is declining. But these Peruvian projectors are just... Oh. Okay, nobody breathe? All right. Okay, you let me know if it doesn't stay there. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a bunch of different stuff today, more so on the kind of the business and economic side of things. I'll cover some design issues and so on, but I'm guessing as primarily students, you don't really get much exposure to more of the business or economic aspects of things. And I think as we look at Peru and some of the opportunities for games and game industries, and all of you who obviously are interested in games because you're here, we need to look at more of the industry business side of things. These guys are from Harmonix. Who's familiar with Harmonix? They create Rock Band and Guitar Hero, the original two versions of Guitar Hero. I think even within Peru, this is a very, very popular game. So that's Iran and Alex from Harmonix. They're based in the United States in Boston at a company, well, at Harmonix, as I said. And they started their company, over 10 years ago, and they failed. They made lots of mistakes. They're having many, many troubles, and this article, this sort of screenshot, is from CNN, the small business website, talking a bit about the history of Harmonix and how, it was a horrendous failure. That originally they made many mistakes, they had very little money, and it took them many, many years before they had the success with Guitar Hero, which then led to the success that they had with Rock Band. And then it generated a $1 billion sort of sector of the industry. Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I think Guitar Hero alone is worth about $1 billion. Rock Band also is about $1 billion US dollars thereabouts. So it's not like tomorrow they woke up and then boom, all of a sudden they created Guitar Hero and Rock Band and now they're billionaires. It took a lot of hard work, it took a lot of failure, a lot of mistakes, and they started with very little. When they started the company, they were still in school, in university at MIT. And so it's just an example, it's one example of how, with very little, making lots of mistakes, but at least trying and experimenting and persevering, they led to great success. This is Tracy Fullerton. She's a very famous academic in the United States. She teaches at the University of Southern California. She used to be a designer working in industry. Now she teaches game design in a master's level program. So her students are game masters, I guess. And she gave a speech a few years ago at the big game developer conference in San Francisco, and she talked about failure and the need to fail. Which, when I saw her speaking about that, I thought it was very strange because she's a teacher. And I thought maybe she's just a very mean teacher telling everyone to fail. But it was less about getting, a failure in your course, and it was more about the idea of experimenting, of exploring, about sort of testing boundaries, or about pushing the boundaries. And that as students, it was important to use your academic career as an opportunity to explore, and fail in the context of exploration, not fail in the context of your class. And that really, really stuck with me, this idea of failure in the context of experimentation and exploration. And she's spoken on that a great deal, and I thought it was very interesting, and not something that any of us really take seriously. Not just students, but even working professionals. There's this sort of big issue about the idea of failure. All right. Okay, here I think it's big enough. These are clones of Breakout. I assume folks are familiar with the classic arcade game Breakout, and these are just a quick Google image search on Breakout clone, and that's just what came up. The reason why I show that is I was in Ireland a few years ago, and I was there for a conference, and I was speaking with some academics, and they were talking about the types of projects that their students were doing, and one of the universities there had a game development program, and they were saying how the end of the year project was to create a Breakout clone. Like that was the big project that all the students were training for and learning skills for, and I thought that was very bad, because they're essentially training and teaching the students how to create clones as opposed to being innovative, as opposed to sort of experimenting and pushing the boundary and so on. And when I asked the teacher, why is it that you have the students create clones instead of creating their own ideas and exploring and experimenting, their own concepts? And the teacher said, I don't know how to grade innovation. Like I don't know what that looks like, but if I can get a close copy to a Breakout, well then I can see if they did a good job and I can grade it and stuff. So sort of a very stark contrast between Tracy, who was talking about the need to experiment, the need to fail and explore, and then this particular example in Ireland where the teacher's like I don't know what that looks like. I got to make sure they sort of follow the template so I can grade it. So it's a big challenge from an academic point